denied that. Yes, Your Honor, you're not getting cash. A guy who makes microbrew for a living wants cash in government funds. It's not going to happen. Yeah. Yeah, what about play? Yeah, we can give you credits at the casino. Premium play? We can make that happen, Jim. Okay, we're going to get started here. Welcome, everybody. Nice to see you today. Before we get started, and as we always do, my name is Frank Cloutier. For those who don't know, I'm the Public Relations Director for the Saginaw Chippewa Indian Tribe, and I'm always here to help facilitate these meetings. But before we go any further and do any more introductions, I'm going to ask our Tribal Chaplain, Jen Wasajizik, to join me up here and lead us in a blessing. Please stand for those of you who can.
Good afternoon. If everyone could bow your heads, please. Lord, we come together today, Lord, to give you thanks. Thank you, Lord, for being such a blessing to our tribe, Lord, and that we can share our blessings with others within the community, Lord. Continue to give us a good relationship amongst our people, Lord. We thank you, Lord. We give you the praise, the honor, and the glory. Chimigwech for all you do. Amen.
Thank you very much, Jen. I had someone once ask me, why is it you always start by, with a blessing, by saying we're going to start in the right way? Well, I couldn't imagine any other righter way, or more appropriate way to start than asking the Creator to bless our activities. So that's a bonus. That's a good thing. So before we go any further, our Tribal Chief, Steve Pigo, is here, and he's going to say a brief welcome for you.
Bonjour. Chinishnabe Desnakas, Mishikenorum, Ojubu Nishnabe Indo, Iso, Madeo. I just mentioned that, my Indian name, that's our spiritual name. And I'm a Turtle Clan. And just a little update on Turtle Clans. A long time ago, we never had last names. So you couldn't marry, so we had clan system. In each clan system, you couldn't marry into another clan. And so that's how we kept track of our cousins and different things. But anyways, that's my clan is Turtle Clan, and we have different animals that are our clan system. There's Eagle Clan and there's Wolf Clan and all that. But anyways, we always do that by mentioning our name in front of the Creator, and then we let Him know our clan, so that when we talk the truth. We talk what's to be talked about. And so that's how we always introduce ourselves. And it's a good way for our children. They want to introduce themselves. They get up and name their clan. And then they're learning about their culture and their language. So it's a good thing. And but I just want to say a big welcome to our Mount Pleasant community. We're all one. We're all human beings here in Isabella. I think it's exciting because a lot of good things are happening. The water park and the things, the businesses that's going on downtown, and I feel like one big family when we do this. And one thing too is that we always give, and I think everybody does that. Every religion. I always say that each year, 2%, but I know church people had to give 10%, and it's just like us, we have a giveaway, and this is part of the giveaway. But even when we get married or our birthdays or something like that, we always give gifts to people, and that's called a giveaway. So we believe that we have to give something back in front of the Creator. So, well, anyways, enough of that. No. But just welcome everybody, and hand it back to Frank.
Thank you very much, Chief Pigo. Some folks here that I would like to thank and bring attention to, because as you're out and about in your communities and you're looking for direction and those people to talk to in our organization, you need to know who it is you can absolutely walk up to and say hello to. So I'm going to start with our staff. Marcella Haddon, Public Relations Manager. She's always there when I'm not, and that's a blessing for everybody around here. And we have Eric Rodriguez, our assistant back there. Eric's the go-to guy if you ever need anything and we're not about. But Michael Johnson is our CFO. He does an awful lot to steward this program and work with Tribal Council, and our comp controller, Jacqueline Rieger, who's been with us for a very long time. We come to count on her and realize her for her talent. So, Jackie, thank you for everything you do. But more importantly than all of us is those folks in leadership. You've met Jen. She's led us in prayer, and the chief's done his address. But we have our sub-chief, Lorna Kakigabkal, with you today, and Council Member Tim Davis, Delmer Jackson, who is older than all of the wallpaper that we have everywhere and been on council forever. Michelle Stanley, our large district representative, Lindy Hunt, and Executive Council Secretary Sandy Sprague. And standing in the back, Chip Neom. And we have Julius, who I think is watching the phones, and Ron, who is on travel. So, and I'm sorry. Our treasurer, the gal who makes today happen, Shelley Foster. Bailey, I did that again, didn't I? Yeah, you're going to have to. See, treasurer, she's going to start charging me. So just to run down a few numbers before we get started here. In Isabella County, there were 38 government requests this turnaround, and there were 307 requests from the schools. Clearly an identification of where the need is and where the desire is, for a total of $8,501,284.12. That's a lot. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of requests. Yeah, in Saganing, they beat you. They want $10.7 million, but of course they've got a different reality over there. But I wanted to kind of share that with you folks and let you know there's so many areas around here that are so challenged, and we've talked about it a lot in different meetings and stuff. And all the schools in and around the Isabella County and Aranet County that don't have the benefit of what we do to make those impacts felt in the communities. And I tell the story all the time. I've always gone home after 2% and drove by my school district, which is near Saganing, and said, wow, it would be nice if they could. But it's really nice now that they have been able to, and we're seeing the growth and the development, and the benefit from that is drawing parallels that make it very easy to talk about the impacts. So it's exciting. To date, since the spring of 1994, the tribe has shared $229,613,929.12. So let's give our tribal council a round of applause. That's well over $250 million, and those impacts are very, very much felt and very much appreciated by each and every one of us throughout the greater community. So with that being said, we'll just move forward, but it's fantastic. There's strength in numbers, and when we come together collectively, we find the power in one another. I was at the hospital board meeting last night, and the Studer group was there. And there was a quote in one of the presentations they were given that really captured my thoughts, and I had ruminated about it all last evening, and I thought I'm going to share that because for me it hit home personally because it has the word culture in it, and that's what we do a lot in the public relations department is we try to do everything we can to share that culture. But Quint Studer said one time, culture outperforms strategy every time, and culture with strategy is unbeatable. And I think that's absolutely true, because when we get to know each other's cultures and we work to strategize for the future, we have a greater understanding of one another, and we can build from those differences, we can build from those strengths. So when somebody says, I don't know about our future, I'm the guy with my glass half full saying, you know what, with something like that, I know we're going to have a great future. So just ruminate over that this afternoon. I thought it was something clever. I like to try and share clever things with you and change this up a bit because it gets a little boring after a while. But so that being said, we're going to carry on. So It's my understanding that George Green is not here today for Isabella County, but we have Mr. David Ling with us and Margaret McElroy. They're getting $194,580.34. Come on up. Nice to see you. How you doing?
Good. As Frank said, our chair is out of town, so as vice chair, I'm taking over for him. He's working on our diplomatic relations with Canada, something about helping them control their fishing, and promises to return sometime in the very near future.
We're making a lot of impact there.
For 9 years, when I served as chair of the county commission, I had the opportunity to do this on a fairly regular basis, and it was always a special experience, partly because of it being an opportunity for the two communities to come together and talk about the commonality of some of our problems. And more importantly, from my perspective, was the kind of value emphasis that was reflected in the choices that were being made for the 2% money. I said once that it struck me that the funding was directed at those who are too young to care for themselves, those who are old and in need of assistance, and those who are unable to provide assistance to themselves. And clearly, the direction of the funding has been that way. I did notice this year that the vast majority of the money to local governments was going to roads, which is, as you all now know, a new and extraordinary need for local communities in order to maintain the infrastructure that's so critical to our futures. But the ongoing support that you've provided for the Commission on Aging and for a number of other programs that are directed at the elders of all our communities is especially welcomed by me now that I count myself among that group. So on behalf of other elders, thank you very much. But more importantly, the attempt to provide assistance to a public school system that in the state in general is not very well supported, but remains the future for our community. Unfortunately, I think, just as a side, the fact that the funding for the materials in order to sustain our school system does not necessarily assure that the values that were being described both by the chief and by Frank today are not always getting to our young people, and that's where we all, I think, ultimately will come in. At any rate, we are, as always, deeply appreciative of the funding that has been provided both to Isabella County as a governmental unit and to all the various other governmental units, make which. Do you want to say something, Margaret?
I would just like to thank the tribe and thank Frank of all of the activities and things that I participate in this community. I would say this is one of my most favorite events. And it's really, as you have said, much more about the culture in the community than it is about the funds. We certainly appreciate the funds, but we appreciate the connection and the partnership and the working together. And we really want to thank you so much for the consideration of our requests and for anything that you are able to provide. We appreciate it very much. We thank you very much. We look forward to continuing our great relationship. Thank you.
Watching my paperwork like a hawk. Without it, I'm lost. Okay, City of Mount Pleasant. We've got a whole bunch of things going on there. They're receiving $355,000 today, and we have Mayor Jim Holton here to accept those funds. They're going for river bank erosion and airport and various other things.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you, tribal council members, for this. These are items that we couldn't do without that funding. It would just sit in the back burner and hopefully get done. You allow us to do that, so we appreciate you honoring our requests that we submit to you every year for these funds here. One thing that I want to point out is that we need to help you folks to keep this going. And so we're here for you to help keeping your gaming autonomous in the area and stop the expansion of gaming across the state, because this is what we need to do as leaders of this community to help you as much as we can. So lean on us, use us. We're here for you to make this continue because it's great for our community and only builds a better relationship between everybody. So City of Mount Pleasant, thank you very much.
That sounds great. I'll have draft resolutions for you next week. When we work together, we can get it done. So, Isabella Gratiot RESD, the special ed program. This is a biannual thing. We're very, very proud to do it with $14,344.66 going. We have Dr. Jan Armstrong to accept that today.
Frank. Thank you. Chief, by the way, love the jacket. That is outstanding. And Council, once again, Megawitch from the Gratiot Isabella RESD, the assistance we get for our special ed programs and also the Forest Hill Nature Center is very much appreciated. This year we're going to again cross the 2,000 student mark of visitors to our Forest Hill area, and that's all because of your kind contributions. So once again, thank you all very much.
Just right over here.
Don't leave. You'll sit in.
Yeah, don't leave without your money. Okay, as Dr. Ling said, in the spirit of road construction, because we know nobody needs any more help than Michigan roads, that's for sure. Chippewa Township's getting $295,583.45, and we have Mr. Robert Smith here with us today to accept those funds. Got you out of the truck this afternoon, right?
Yeah, I was in a basement, so it's a little warmer upstairs outside. So.
That's true.
On behalf of Chippewa Township and all the citizens, I'd like to thank the Tribal Council. If it wasn't for these funds and the pebble put in the water, the ripples, all four of these pages would be blank, and none of this would happen without you. None of it. And it goes very far. Thank you very much.
Walt Nelson from Deerfield Township. Come on up. We've got a check for you for $13,390.
Good afternoon, everyone. I was glad when I heard that he was going to have this in the afternoon instead of the morning. It give me a little more time to think of something adequate to say, but it turns out time's not really the issue. It's a big gap between the gratitude that needs to be shown and my lack of or inadequate communication skills. Just give you an idea of what I'm talking about. If I'd have been in David's place explaining where George was, I'd have probably said he was over in Canada drowning worms, but but anyway, I also realized the most important thing is to let you know how much your help is means to us, how much it's appreciated, and on behalf of the rest of the Township Board and the residents of Deerfield Township, I'd just like to say thank you very much and God bless you.
Okay, Tammy Prout from Denver Township had confirmed that she was going to be here, and she is not here as of yet. So we're going to hold Denver Township's check until I can see, make sure everything's okay with those folks. Another road improvement, Rick Irvin from Isabella Township, $209,974.
Big road. On behalf of Isabella Township, I'd like to say thanks. Waden Road is one of our worst roads in the county, and we wouldn't be able to do it on our own without Tribal Council, so thank you very much.
The Isabella County Council of Governments in August, they have their annual meeting, but in August they always have a big picnic, and he just asked me if the tribe would be willing to host that picnic this year in August, so I'm going to check with the housing department, see if we can use their pavilion and have all you government folks over, all you representatives over to join us for that picnic and fellowship together in August. So I'll be getting back with you on that. I just want to make sure that I'm not going to promise something that I'm not going to be able to deliver on. So, Judy Schemancer, Township Clerk, in Ottawa Township. We've got a check for you for $13,390, dear. Schumacher. I had it spelled wrong.
Well, Nottawa Township would really like to thank the Saginaw Chippewa Indian Tribe for your giveaway. Without this, we wouldn't be able to balance our budget. So thank you very much.
I promise I'll spell it right next time. I'll have to get to that phonetic spelling for all you educators. Brian Smith, did you bring Russ with you today? No, just Brian's here. Brian's going to go home with a check for River Road in the amount of $104,717. Union Township.
Roads seem to be definitely an issue that we're all facing nowadays, and in the last 5 years only, the township has received just short of $1 million for various road projects in the township. So this not only benefits the township, but everybody that lives in the county and visitors to this area. So on behalf of all three of those groups, I sincerely appreciate this money to go to these roads that is so vital to our community and the safety of this community. Thanks again.
You know, they're talking about roads, and we're absolutely making this a focus. That was another conversation that came up last night at the hospital board, is this catastrophic health care. You know, and there's a pool of billions, and that's billions with a B, of dollars left over every year that these lobbyists look at and all these different groups look at, and that could go away in this legislation. You know, and then you've got our Kevin Cotter saying, why don't we use that for roads? So there's a huge fight going on in the House right now on that bill, so that'll be fun to watch and see how that develops. But at the end of the day, we're not going to benefit if people can't come back and forth. And our infrastructure needs our help, and it needs all the attention it can get. So I think the focus should remain there for a little while, at least get us over the hump, or around the pothole, if you will. So, Doris, come on up. I've got $15,340 for you from the Tribal Council from Wise Township. Yeah, I know. She has a friend of hers she works with at the casino, a security guard, for free speedway passes, so she put me right on that. So all right. Thank you. Yeah, that was a pretty horrible night. Village of Rosebush. Do we have Lee Coughlin here, or Steve Davidson? Or I'm sorry, Rosebush. Margaret Anderson. I'm sorry. Margaret, I got $49,066 that almost went to Village of Shepherd. Just for you.
Thank you very much. We'd like to thank the Saginaw Chippewa Indian Tribe for this generous grant. This money is going to be used to facilitate the much-needed rebuild of the Rosebush Road on the west side of our village. It's kind of an important piece of road as it has a lot of traffic in the fall with the farmers taking their grain and that to the mill. So once again, thank you again for this generous contribution.
Thank you. Thank you, dear. Okay, Steve, you ready now? Taking home $153,022. We have the Village of Shepherd, President Lee Coughlin, and City Manager Steve Davidson, or Village Supervisor, I should say.
Come on up, Lee. Yeah, there he is. I'll kind of go first here, but I'd really like to thank the tribe for everything they've done for our whole community as a whole, everything from walk trails to community centers. The walk trail stuff is gaining a lot of momentum. It's growing. You'll start to hear more and more on that. The tribe has been a very big supporter in that. We do appreciate that, and that will be countywide. But there's just so much that they do for us, and I can't say thank you enough on behalf of our whole community. So, Lee, if you'd like to say something. Sure.
This is another road project, and it's the last of the entrances to the village. The other three, well, including this one, total about $3.5 million, and the tribe has been the deciding factor in all of these. So to say that we're indebted to the tribe and we're grateful to the tribe goes without saying. We appreciate what they've done for us through the years, as Steve says. He had a lot to do with putting this collaboration together between MDOT, Railroad Division of MDOT, federal government, Village of Shepherd, and the Saginaw Chippewa Indian Tribe. So we're very thankful to the tribe, and we will continue to be so. Thank you very much.
You know, I was looking through, and I always try to make sure that we talk about the history of giving and what we've done thus far. And I was looking through some of the percentages because they break it down for the schools and the governments over the years since the spring of '94 and when we gave the 8% to the governor and, you know, all this and stuff. And I was just talking to Tim a little bit before. At one point, the very first year, 1% of these funds went to public education. And then in years past, we've had as high as 41% of these funds going to education. You know, we're looking at the challenges we have right now, and it takes a tremendous amount of talent in engineering and education to do projects like what's going out on M20 right now, which unfortunately will take the lion's share of the summer, but we're going to work collectively and collaboratively with them to make sure that the impacts are are less felt than normally would be with that project. But it takes education to get those type of projects off the ground. We have to have those skilled trades. We have to have that advanced education and learning. And, you know, I work a lot representing the tribe with the STEM program in the Great Lakes Bay region and what they're trying to do to grow in our market share, the value of education. And we're telling everybody as we sit on these ad hoc committees and we learn more and more from these groups that if we want our children to succeed in today's educational standards, we have to get to them in the 3rd and 4th grade, and we have to make them 3rd and 4th grade superstars when it comes to math. And it takes tools and resources in which to do that. One of the things as a tribal member I've always been so impressed with and very proud of is when I witnessed the leadership and their considerations for education. It's heartfelt. And it's impactful, and it has a tremendous amount of mindfulness in the exercise of doing what it is they do to recommend. We have Melissa Montoya with us today. Say hi. From our education department. They build recommendations for our leadership because they're the ones on the front line, if you will, working directly with the kids. They're the ones who provide the information that's necessary for the leadership to make the most informed decision they can. And Tribal Council never ceases to amaze or impress me when it comes to that. And it's just wonderful to see those benefits. I walk through 100 schools a year, and that's probably being restrictive. But when I walk through the schools in Aranet County and I walk through the schools in Isabella County, I absolutely witness the impacts that these dollars have. It's amazing what the other schools go without. And it's amazing the jobs they do going without. So yeah, it's just a blessing all the way around. So, and I probably assume that you're guessing I'm getting to the education portion of the 2%. But Beale City Public Schools, we have Joe Judge here today. He's the Director of Technology. And Joe, you're going to be taking home a check for $66,642.
Superintendent Chilman sends his regrets that he couldn't make it today, but he's attending his son's high school awards ceremony this afternoon. On behalf of Beale City staff and administration, we'd just like to say thank you for your continued generosity. Without your help, many of these really important projects would never get off the ground. So again, thank you for your continued support.
Chippewa Hills Public Schools, Shirley Howard, $25,517.50.
Yes, this is my last time. So, after 8 years of being superintendent, I actually came prepared, so I wrote my speech today. So, it is true. Some of you may remember that I really officially retired 2 years ago, but I came back to work for my district for 1/3 of my salary because, as Frank says, funding is critical and we need more money. So, but really now, after 46 years in education, I am going to quit working as of June 30th. So I will have more time to spend at the casino because everyone knows that, Lorna knows, I've seen her there too, that I do like to go to the casino. But since it is my last time, I wanted to share with you some of the things that you have provided for Chippewa Hills and Wademan Elementary over the years. And the list is very long, so I just picked some highlights. Playground equipment for both our kindergarten and regular playground. Support for our preschool program. And those of you who know me, actually my passion is early elementary. So I was a kindergarten teacher before I became an administrator, which is kind of unusual. But my passion is there. Acoustic panels for our gym, surround sound systems, literacy enrichment programs, support for our Native American incentive program for academics and attendance, supplemental materials for writing, math, and science, our wonderful Imagine It reading program, providing wireless access points in a building that's totally made out of cement, technology enhancements including projectors and document cameras, licenses for enrichment programs, which some of you won't know, but if you're an educator, you will. Lexia, Read Naturally, IXL, and Steady Island. Summer enrichment books, and then math is all important, and we just went to a new math program called Engage New York, which is a Singapore math, which I know Mount Pleasant uses, and Manipulus for that program. I have actually been superintendent as well as the Wademan principal for the past 8 years. I've been principal for 32, but 8 years ago I added the superintendent's job. And in those 8 years, we have received from you approximately $565,000 to enhance our programs. So I cannot thank you enough for all the support you have given us over the years. Words simply are inadequate to express my appreciation. The funds we have received have certainly helped to make Chippewa Hills and especially Wademan Elementary a better and safer place to learn, as well as providing our students with the latest technology and materials to enhance their learning. Our district, I get a little emotional, so our district has truly been blessed with your generosity. Thank you.
After 40-some years, she can get it as emotional as she wants. That's quite a career. Mount Pleasant Public Schools, $379,288.93. We have Superintendent Michael Pung.
Thank you, Frank. On behalf of Mount Pleasant Public Schools and the Board of Education and staff, I'd like to sincerely thank the tribe. I echo some of the things that Chippewa Hills Superintendent Shirley just said. Those things that she named would be impossible as well for Mount Pleasant Schools to have for our students to use. And I think I've mentioned before that these travel grants help to really keep us on a cutting edge of technology and in step with some of the educational endeavors that we need to be involved in. And I can't thank you enough. It truly makes the difference for us. Thank you very much.
Claire Bunker, come on up. Shepherd Public Schools, we have $130,311 for you.
Like the other educators, I'd like to thank the tribe for their continued support. I'd also like to tell Shirley congratulations, and I hope that when you retire this time, you get to enjoy some things. And like Mike said, it does so much for our schools. If you walk into our schools, you can see the difference that all these grants make. I was in a high school English classroom today, and it's changed. I know I was a math teacher, so I'm not going to pretend I loved literature in 10th grade, and you had that big, thick literature book, and you read Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, and it's not like that anymore. Our high school English classrooms are just filled with bookshelves, and K-12, it's about reading choice, so that we are trying to instill in children a love for reading throughout their career in school as well as beyond, and it really has made a difference, and without all the grants from the tribe to support literacy, we wouldn't be able to do that. Anytime you're down in Shepherd, pop into a classroom and you can see the difference those make as well as the wonderful choices our kids have, and I truly hope that they will become lifelong lovers of literacy. Thank you.
We're actually holding an event out there this summer because of the construction at Central Michigan University. Our Michigan Indian Family Olympics, where we involve ourselves and the 11 other tribes and a couple of urban centers, is going to be held out there. It's a wonderful facility. So we'll have an opportunity to eyeball some of that 2% in action. So we're excited about it. Sorry, Lorna. Seems to be a theme this summer with me. But I've been driving the back roads for the last month and a half just to get from Pinconning to Mount Pleasant because every major thoroughfare has construction going on it. So it's been a challenge. Margie Donovan, head of schools from Maury Public Schools. We've got $4,027 for you for enhanced technology. Come on up.
Thank you. On behalf of the staff and students at the Maury Public School, I want to thank you for your support. Thank you for the support you showed us last year. We're a small school, but we're trying to do great things out there, and this is going to help us.
And I don't know why they call them smart boards. I can't use one. The principal, Lisa Bergman from Renaissance Public Schools, $7,839, and it's an active classroom program.
I know I should say thank you on behalf of the staff and those of us that are adults that live in the world of our school every day. But for this grant in particular, I want to say thank you on behalf of the students. We tried to be very purposeful in making a simple request that would make school a fun place to be. And what it involves is equipment, seating, and supplies that let students move, wiggle, be up and around in very appropriate ways so that they can enjoy their learning and not always need to be in one place doing it all the same way. So they don't know it yet, but they will be very excited when they see this, and we truly appreciate this contribution to our school and our community. So on behalf of our students, thank you very much.
Okay, does anybody have any acknowledgments, announcements, programs going on or anything? We heard about the June 17th, and we're planning for the Council of Governments picnic in August. If those of you here have not ever had the opportunity to visit our satellite reservation in Standish, Michigan, it's called Saganing. We're having a traditional but it's very meaningful, and it goes right to the culture of our people. So I would encourage each and every one of you to pop by and give you a chance to look at our smaller casino over there, too. So But surely you'd love that place. But and of course, the last full weekend in July, we have the annual homecoming powwow here. So we encourage each and every one of you, if you have family visiting, bring them out because that's the best of the best when it comes to showing the people we are, and we would be honored to have you within our community that weekend. So with that being said, yes. Oh, thank you. Honoring, Healing, and Remembering is June 5th out at the Indian Industrial Boarding School. Starts with a 7:30 sunrise ceremony, and then the actual agenda starts at 9 o'clock. Mr. Staples has been kind enough to let us use his parking lot again, and we will have iRide there to provide safe shuttle back and forth. So, yes, thank you, Mayor Holton, for reminding me about that. It's a great opportunity. We have, what is it, Marcella, 162 students? Oh, 216 students to date since we've taken over that property. We've identified who never made it back home. And you've got to remember, in that boarding school era, there were Indian agents that were brought out by the federal government, and this was a forced assimilation. These children, most of them taken against their will from their families, were taught Western culture. And the sins of the past are just after the sins of the past. But for those 216 youth that never the Saginaw Chippewa Indian Tribe, Chimigwech, and let's continue to work together, and let's continue to do the good job that we do. Thank you.